Missed my advocate's call because I had to go to the bathroom.
Hello.
Hi, it's Sean.
Hi, Sean. What's happening today?
I'm overwhelmed just like every day.
Yeah.
I hate texting. I got so many people that throw me away because they don't understand texting. They don't get it.
Just that it's stressful for you, or
Well, that is there an echo?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay. Um, I can hear it on my side, but when I text people, like they don't get what it is that I'm trying to explain in texting, and I can tell that by their replies and how a lot of them treat me, and
Yeah.
they throw me away over texting, or they make bad decisions because of things they took wrong in texting, or they do harmful things over things they took wrong in texting.
Mm. Okay. Well, I wanted to be able to give you an update on Social Security. And we got all three release forms from all three counties. So I think we have everything we need to submit to Social Security. So the next step is I think the closest Social Security office to you is Lodgepole. And so I was wondering, do you have a post office box that I can send you these three release forms?
I don't.
Okay. Do you have an address where they can be sent, or?
No, it's all PO boxes here in town.
Okay, and you don't have a PO box.
I don't.
Okay. I can call Lodgepole and see if we can send the paperwork directly to them. Then.
I don't think they have a social security office in Lodgepole. There's only 200 people in the whole town.
Oh.
I think the closest would be Sydney. It's 30 miles away.
Okay. Well, then on Monday I can call Sydney and see if we can. If you don't have a PO box or somebody that I can send this to, then maybe we can send them there so that they have them.
See, that's one of the reasons I moved to Colorado when things weren't working out up here, is because they're supposed to. Because the lady that was coming to see me, she has a son who's autistic. Her name's Tamara, and she was coming all the way from Scotts Bluff, and she was telling me there's a lot more autism advocates and a lot more help along the Front Range in Colorado. So Ken and Leah, they were supposed to. Leah's son is autistic, so they were supposed to understand autism a little bit more, and really, they just know how to exploit it and how to push buttons. I mean, you get two types of parents in that situation. You either get lucky and you get parents who try to understand and help you out, or you get parents that are childish and just want to press your buttons and be dickheads. And, when something gets frustrating, they just basically use you as a punching bag, even if it's only emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the second type.
Mm-hmm. Well, so kind of, in order to get your Social Security back, and that gives you the options of quite a few options of being able to take care of yourself. I'm trying to figure out how to get these, now that we've gotten all the county forms back, we're a lot closer to getting Social Security going. So you think I need to call Sydney then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They hooked me up with a new lady from Region 1, and she doesn't know shit about autism or sensory overload issues. Like, for me, if there's sound, then I can't concentrate. Like, the echo on my phone is making it difficult to concentrate on what I need to say.
Hang on, let me see if I can fix something on my phone. Does this make it any better?
I don't know. It was only echoing when I was talking.
Oh, okay. Is it echoing now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So who's the new person from Region 1?
Her name is Jen Beebe, but she hasn't been calling me back. I've made a lot of phone calls to her, and she's not answering. She's not calling me back. She's not replying. She's not nothing.
Okay, can you spell her last name?
Beebe.
Okay. I don't know, because of all this craziness with the virus, I think a lot of people are trying to work from different places, and so there might be some of that. How long have you been trying to call her?
3 months.
Oh, 3 months. Okay, so when last time I talked to you, I didn't think you had anybody at Region 1. Okay.
Well, that's the thing, is that she was my person with Region 1 right after Natalie was killed, and then they want me to redo the paperwork, but I have to be able to travel. I don't have a vehicle or anyone to give me a ride or any gas money to give someone to give me a ride. And
okay. And so I might try to reach out to Jen just to see if she's still there or still doing things, and then if she's got any ideas of anybody else that can call you. The biggest thing I'm trying to do is, like we've been talking about, is trying to get your housing and get your Social Security going.
yes,
and
ma'am.
so I want to make sure, we focus hard on that and get those two things done, because I think those two things are going to give you a lot more freedom, to start over.
Yes, ma'am. Not having those prevented me from being able to take care of myself, and it really put me in a situation where every predator who wanted to harm me had access to me. I was stuck homeless in an area where my name was slandered all over the news, and
Yeah.
the cops wouldn't do anything about the abuse. They took part in it instead.
And then I guess what I'm trying to do is kind of help with the future. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about the legal system, or kind of know about autism and those kinds of supports. And
well, that's the thing, is that the autism part is important as far as the legal part goes, because they exploited my disabilities in order to get away with committing a lot of crimes. The thing is, if Tamara hadn't quit, she quit because of me, because she didn't want the things that I had gone through to happen to her son. But if she hadn't have quit, then we were working on getting it set up so that I could take the volunteers to court over the slander that I was being abused over. I just needed to be able to show them what was going on, because they just got the wrong idea because they didn't understand. And since Natalie was killed, they've done a lot of really messed up stuff, and the cops they really screwed up bad by not listening to me before Natalie died. It's because I'm disabled. They're mandated reporters. They have to take my report. Telling me that I just needed to man up was obviously the wrong thing to do, and they didn't file a report according to Nebraska and Colorado state law. If somebody calls 911, you have to make a report, but they didn't take a report from me. So there's the situation with that where that allowed me to be harmed further. It prevented me from having any legal recourse against my predators and allowed them to get away with a lot of really messed up stuff by claiming that they were the victims.
Yeah. So how's that impacting you today? Like, if they, have you just blocked everybody that wasn't a positive person in your life from social media and from your phone, and have you done those things?
Pretty much everybody threw me away already.
So I'm hearing weird sounds.
Yeah, I'm getting updates. There's a guy that I met on one of the bus trips that I was on. We dealt with a racist asshole on the bus, and he sent me a friend request today. So it's dinging every time that he sends me something or anytime somebody replies on Facebook.
Well, I will call on Monday and talk to Social Security office in Sydney. For some reason, I thought there was one in Lodgepole when I looked online. But the only other question I have about Social Security for you, because I don't want to make sure we don't miss anything, is the warrants that you have out. Are any of those felony warrants, or are they all misdemeanors?
They're all misdemeanors.
Okay. So from what I understand, then as long as there's no felony warrants, there shouldn't be anything that gets in front of getting your benefits back. So I will talk to Sydney Monday. There's only so much they'll tell me because I'm not you, but at least I'll get accurate information so that if we do figure out how to get you transportation there and get the papers that I have sent there for you, then you should be able to get it done in one meeting.
That's the biggest problem with not being in Colorado. Like when I was in Colorado, part of the reason for moving there was to be closer to my friends that were positive, which I don't have very many of them here, and also so that I wouldn't have to travel so far to get the help that I needed. And even after I moved there, I still had to drive back up here for my meetings with Nicole Peralta.
And so you still haven't considered moving to somewhere else, like within Nebraska? Like, have you considered moving to Scottsbluff, or?
I can't. I don't. I have to be close to people that I'm familiar with. I will completely shut down and probably kill myself if I don't have that. If I don't have the ability to see my loved ones, I don't have a reason to be alive. I don't.
So you do have loved ones there?
I have a lot of people that hate me now, even.
Well, but you just commented on not wanting to leave loved ones in chapel, so you must have some friends there and some people that you care about you, right?
Well, sort of. I mean, they don't understand. That's a lot of the issue, and a lot of them just aren't. There's no positivity in them. They try to drown out their sorrows with noise and alcohol or noise and drugs, and I can't be around that. It kills me. Seeing them once in a while, it helps because they're glad to see me because they remember me how I used to be.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say, I I really don't have any idea how hard this has been. I'm sure it's been extremely, extremely difficult. And I know it's probably hard to continue to have a lot of hope, but hope is what you can cling to. And, getting some of these basic things back will give you some more strength and some more peace. And I really think you need to, when we get the Social Security back, the other benefit of that is getting your Medicaid so that you can get a counselor to help resolve this, because you need a professional who you can talk to, that can help start to heal all this stuff. And so,
I just need somebody positive to hang out with.
right. And I think that, yeah.
Not having any money to take care of myself and having to, like, people don't want to hang out with somebody who's always broke. Everything costs money, and
Yeah.
all my money always went to survival. I mean, I never earned enough to have my own place.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, you're on the road with these two things that I can help you with, the housing and the Social Security. I can at least see those things through, and those two things I think will help other things come.
If I'd not had those things taken from me when Natalie died, most of the people that threw me away over texting and panic attacks never would have done so, because I wouldn't have had the meltdowns that I had over the abuse that I had to take without them.
Right.
And most of these people, like, I had to try to find a way to go see them, and I was wasting all of my money to go see public pretenders who weren't showing up, and investigators who weren't showing up, and then going to court dates where the public pretenders didn't show up, or they'd postpone it again and again and again. I went to over 20 court dates before I had to break the law, and, like, for each of those court dates, I also had a meeting with a public pretender, and I also had a meeting with their investigators, so it was over 60 appointments that I had to drive to areas where I was being abused in order to go talk to those people in, like, a 7-month period, and I went to every single one of them, and that ate all of my disability money. I literally couldn't afford to go to any more appointments, and I had to break the law. I was going to Colorado to kill myself.
Sean, we have to get you help, because you need, and I will try to find you the help, because you need a counselor who can.
I don't need a counselor. I need housing and my income back so I can stop these people.
Right.
I need an honest day in court, and I can't even function without housing and my income. I can't afford to do all these things that they want me to do. I can't jump through all these hoops.
Right. But remember, the housing part and the Social Security part I'm working on.
Yes, ma'am.
Remember that. Okay,
yes,
so
ma'am.
those two things we are working on. Now that I know you don't have any felony warrants, we're working on those two things. And so we're so far into those steps on those two things. Those are things I can do, where there's other things I can't do. But I can't help you with those two things. So that's what we're going to focus on.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to focus on those two things that are going to make things better, so that you can stop living in the past and you can start living in the present and in the future. Okay?
Well, that's the thing, is that all that stuff from the past is affecting my present, and it's going to affect my future. I'm stuck in the same town that made me suicidal to begin with, ma'am.
But at the same time, you're saying you won't leave that town.
I don't have anywhere else with familiar people that's positive. I can't go to Wyoming. I mean, Rihanna, she's sober now, so she's a lot more positive, but I'm not. I can't go to Wyoming or I'll get victimized for going to see Rihanna, because there's a protection order because she didn't lie, or she didn't tell the truth, because she was an alcoholic and she was abusing the kids there because she was an alcoholic. but now the
Well,
kids aren't there, and she's quit drinking, but the protection order's there, and then I don't have the money to pay the stuff there, so they're gonna have warrants out for me anyway in just a couple of months. And then the Colorado, I can't go there because of the warrants, and that's where most of my loved ones live, the ones that are the most positive, and there's stuff that you can do in Colorado. I mean, in Wyoming, there's nothing. It's just flat and ugly in the area that she lives in. In Colorado, it's beautiful. They got the Rockies. Most places, though, there's nobody that I know, or it's complete strangers. I went to California because there was a stranger who offered to help me named Shannon, and she's a really nice lady. But she's an alcoholic too. And I went to Virginia to go see my friend Brett, and he used to be an alcoholic, but he said that he was cutting back and was almost quit. And I got there, and like, holy shit, he was all fucked up on meth, and he was selling the shit and tried to make bills that way. And he was just volatile, and Shannon was volatile when she was drinking. And I had to go to my dad's house, and my dad's
hello?
I'm here. I'm here. I just there's two places. There's two places where I had positivity. That was here in Chapel and down in Boulder, and most of the people that I had here threw me away over messed up situations like what happened at Rihanna's.
Well, I think if you do stay in Chapel, if that is what you end up choosing to do, you get your housing, you get your income back. I think you have a chance to repair some of that stuff and start your new life. I think people will see you maybe in a different light then, because you'll be in a better situation for yourself with your income and your housing. And I think that will provide a change in probably how you feel, how you act, and some of those relationships maybe you'll be able to fix.
I'll always have to deal with the abuse. I'll always have to deal with the repercussions of everything that happened.
I think there is a time where that will be in your past, but that's where a therapist can help you process through that so that can be a part of your past and not a part of your present. But
I'll have to do that through legal routes, but I have to get my housing and my disability money back before I can do any of that.
Right. You're closer than you've been in a long, long time. And remember, you've got the application into the housing. That's on the road. That bill has been made. And we've got...
I was on the road to that in Wyoming, and the cops ran me off. That was in Cheyenne. And then I was on that road again. I was trying to at Shannon's, but it didn't take but 3 or 4 days for me to realize that wasn't going to happen. And I got started again up in Washington State on 2 different occasions, and the cops ran me out both of those times too.
Well, I don't know what to say to that because I don't know that situation. But
when you're homeless, they try to run you off from everywhere. And when they ran my name, they saw the felony assault against a police officer on my arrest record, which they dropped the charges, but that's always on my arrest record. And cops are not nice when that's on your arrest record.
Well, let's try to focus on housing and your income. Okay. And so I'm gonna keep following up with Hilltop and with Social Security. Okay.
That's part of the reason. Like when I was in Colorado, they were supposed to help me get an advocate that was gonna go to my appointments with me and help me set that up, who could go in with me. But with you being all the way in North Platte, like you're hours away from me, so it's
right.
It's different.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like here, I'm an hour and a half from Scotts Bluff, and that's where Jen Beebe has to travel from if she comes to see me, and that's where Tamara, she had to make that drive every Friday to come all the way to Chapel from there. And in Colorado, it was just for Kara Heller, she was only 25 minutes away, and they could give me rides before what happened to Natalie, but after that was all over the news, like everybody told me they're not allowed to give me rides.
Mhm. Let me look into some transportation things. I don't know what there might be out there, but I'll.
They got a handy bus, but I shut down entirely, and then also I have severe panic attacks all night long because there's nobody to talk to, and then I end up passing out during the day. I don't sleep, I pass out, and then I'm stuck in my nightmares. And then I wake up and I realize that I'm it's not just a nightmare, it's my life.
I'm sorry you're struggling so much. I wish there was more I could do, and um, I can work on those things.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I really believe that those two things will make a difference. Um,
Yeah, and I've been saying that since the beginning. That's the thing that people weren't understanding right from the very start is without those things, I can't take care of myself. And
right.
people just wouldn't stop victimizing me because I didn't have those things. So I was stuck out in public with that fucking mark on my head like I was some sort of a monster.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it probably feels that way. I don't know. I think I wish I could say more or do more. You know, I do
And
know those two things that I can work on.
the things that you understand are so important.
Yeah, the anxiety and the panic and the yeah. There has to be a way too, and I want you to start thinking about this too. Is if there is a handy bus, and that is your route to having a better life, then there might be a way for you to prepare ahead of time. How am I going to get through this? Do I need to? I don't know. How to process getting through that. If that trip and that's the way to get you there, it's not optimal, but maybe there's a way for you to um, process so that you can get through it.
Yes, ma'am. That's the thing about the housing is I need that in order to process a lot of the stuff here. Like if he's watching a movie or playing a video game or listening to the radio or streaming the videos on his phone, and sometimes he does multiples of those at the same time. I can't function well enough to make a phone call even if he's got just one of them. I can come upstairs and it's all right. But if he's got two or three of them going, I'm screwed. And he's every moment that he's awake, he's got sound going. So I have to wait until he's asleep to even have the time, the ability to think for myself because that stimuli prevents me from being able to focus on the things that I need to. I can't focus on it, and I can't focus on what I need to think about either. So basically, it's like trying to drink milk while somebody else is pouring orange juice, and it just kind of mixes the milk and the orange juice, and it gags. And
Yeah.
that's the best way I can explain it. And the other thing is, like when he goes to sleep, it's with the TV on, so I get some peace and quiet when it finally turns off on its own. But then I can't make calls then because although he'll sleep through his alarm like it's nothing, like he'll wake up to any other pin drop, and then I don't want him to be in a bad mood. And he's not mean to me, but I do understand that the more I do that, the more I wake him up by being that pin drop, the more aggravating and frustrating it's going to be for him.
So how are you able to do like a call right now?
Right now he's passed out downstairs, and I am I'm upstairs. It's pretty cold up here still, but it's starting to warm up. So yeah, I'm upstairs.
Well, um, hopefully I'll have more answers for you tomorrow. And then we'll figure out what exactly they need from you to reinstate your Social Security.
I'm sorry, I was up all night. I was trying not to have a meltdown. If I have to hold it in, and then since I have to hold it in so I won't wake him up, I end up texting people and begging them to kill me all night.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's what I want.
Well, I I'm an advocate, but I'm not a therapist, and
I know. It's
that
not a
makes me really
therapist that I
nervous
need.
because if you're unsafe, then I have to tell somebody.
That's the thing is that policy there puts me at risk. It makes things worse for me. It's exactly the opposite of the help that I need.
It's just that you can't. I mean, you can't tell people things like that though, and have them not, follow through and do what they think is the right thing, and that is to alert people that you might not be safe. And so I'm just telling you that
Man,
that's
the
not a
thing
good
is
idea
that
to send
the
texts like that.
the protocol for that puts me in an unsafe position. The cops in this town were my predators, and so was the hospital in Scotts Bluff. I need the things that I had when Tamara worked at Region One, and that was somebody who understands and my housing, and I didn't get my disability income until after she quit.
And see, those things we can help with, but what I'm saying is you can't say those things in text because it scares people, and people have to try to do the right thing to protect you. And
But
I hear
that
what you're
doesn't
saying,
protect
that
me.
doesn't
The
protect
protection
you.
I need is for them to come forward and tell the truth.
But see, you can't. I don't know.
I don't want to feel like this anymore. And this whole hurry up and wait, I've been trying to get those things back for 2 years, and without them, I just have to take the abuse, which includes that whole suicide watch thing. I would rather die than go through that suicide watch shit again, and that's what I'm afraid of.
Okay, but then if you threaten those things in text.
But I'm not threatening, I'm begging.
Well, I guess I'm not qualified to talk about it because that's not my area. So I guess what's best for me to do, because I want to help you, I want you to get your housing and I want you to get your Social Security back. And those are two things that I feel like I can really do. And so, and you know that I've been working on that for about a month.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I don't want you to lose sight of that. And remember that those things are, I know things have gone poorly in the past, but that's what we're working on today. And so I hope that gives you some hope, knowing that we're closer and that those are two things that I can help with. Two pretty big things.
Yes, ma'am. I wish I had someone I could just call and talk to, but I don't have one of those. So
I think when you get your Social Security back, you'll get Medicaid. When you get Medicaid, now they have a lot of therapists that can do telehealth, which is counseling over the internet, over the computer, over the phone.
I was doing that with Jeff Ritter. I was doing that with Jeff Ritter in Colorado. He needs to come forward too, but he won't. I told him about some of the stuff that I was going through, and in the state of Colorado, because he's a therapist, since he didn't do his job by reporting the abuse against me, he could actually lose his license, so he won't come forward.
I I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that, but
It's okay.
um, I just that's I just don't. I know about autism, and um, I know some about Social Security and housing and those things. I just have never been educated in those areas, so I don't really know anything about that.
That's why
Um,
Tamara was so great. She understood the autism, and she also
yeah,
understood the disability, and she helped me to
right.
get disability before she quit.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I can do. So I hope that helps. I know it probably doesn't feel great today, but um, hopefully you can focus on that.
I get worse every day, and I that's the thing is that it's been hurry up and wait and hurry up and wait, and until it actually happens, like I get worse every day.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I wish I could do something about that. I wish I could help you feel better about that.
If I showed Alicia, if they'd allowed me to go to court and show her what was going on, she would have asked them to stop. I know that if I'd have been able to show Natalie, she would have asked people to stop. She just thought I was bullshitting her.
Yeah.
She knew me better than that, but she let her predators convince her otherwise, and that is so screwed up. She just wanted them to love her.
I'm sorry.
I'm broken. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I wish there was more I could say or do. I just don't know what to say or do.
I'm glad.
I wish you could feel better.
I'm glad that you exist. You. I'm sure your son is lucky to have you. I wish I had a mom like you.
You'll have people in your court. You will. It's not. This is just a bad time in history for you, and um, I think we get a few of these things in place. I think you'll be able to start to mend relationships and have a future that isn't all about your past. So,
Yeah, the past affects the future, but we can change it. We just
yeah,
have to work together.
yeah.
Divided
So,
we fall, you know?
yeah. So I will call Monday to the Cheyenne Social Security office, and then we'll figure out, or where was it? Was it Cheyenne? No, Sydney. And see what you need to do, and then figure out how to get you there to sign whatever you have to sign and get that back, because that's going to give you your insurance so you can get some mental health help, and it's going to give you, you know, the ability to have your housing. So we'll get on that if you can focus on that. And I will give you either a call or a text tomorrow with instructions, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, ma'am. All of the people who love me enough to help me, they're all in states that I can't go to.
Yeah.
I miss
I
them.
did. I wasn't able to call because of the virus stuff to see if there was any other agencies that worked more in that area um, that could help you with those things. I'll keep looking out for that. Mike will do some research on that, see if there's anybody that can kind of take over that part and help you with it.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm sorry to all these people. I really am.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta be sorry that they didn't understand too. I have to.
Yeah.
if I'd have been able to show her what was going on, she could have put a stop to this and she wouldn't have had him shoot her in the head.
I'm sorry. You're dealing with a lot of stuff.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So that it's just, if I can get those two things going for you, then you know, the, then other people with skills and knowledge better than mine can hopefully help with some of those other things. And so we'll get on these first two things, these first two critical things now. And if you can hang on to that, I know you're not going to probably believe it till you see it. I understand that, but we can just follow the system the way we have to follow it. And so,
The laws need to be changed so badly.
yeah, that's a whole, yeah. But first, you need to figure out with several people's help, you need to figure out how to fix your own space before you worry about, all these other things. I know that's
They all tie in together. It's all that legal stuff that's prevented me from getting these things back, and not having these things is what's been preventing me from taking care of my legal things. And the lack of both is what's made it so that I literally had to break the law to defend myself and my loved ones, even the ones that hate me.
uh, I think we're gonna, breaking the law just is never gonna help. It's gonna make it worse. But
Not always. Not always. The thing is that I only broke the law because I literally had to. There was no other way to do it. I tried everything else without an advocate, without a lawyer, and without an income or a roof, being stuck in other people's environments, especially with them being alcoholics or drug dealers. Like, the, breaking the law was literally the only way for me to do that without an advocate.
well, we'll keep trying to see if there's other agencies that have advocates in those areas that can help you. And that's what I can tell you is that we will continue to try to seek people out to help you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So hope you can hang on to that. And then I will, continue just like we have over the last several weeks. We're working here to try to get those couple of things up and running for you. And then that'll just remedy some of these other things.
Yes, ma'am. I got court on April 16th. Maybe with this whole virus thing, they're probably gonna shut down a lot of that. I keep hoping that nobody here gets the coronavirus, but I want it so that I don't have to be here anymore. So that's kind of weird, I guess. But they might be too stocked up at court to do it in April. I don't know. They haven't called me to tell me any different. So, but if I don't have housing by then, I have to go in there, and I'm gonna be shut down until I get that. So then I won't be able to prepare for court, and I might not be able to function in court. I need someone to go with me, and the people taking me to court, they're not even bad people. Her name is Alyssa. Her and her mom Mandy were trying to help me, but they had legal issues and they had a bunch of other issues and a bunch of monetary issues that prevented them from being able to keep their word. And then the police, they outright lied and said that nobody would, and probably because the way that I act, and that's the thing is that the way that I'm acting is because of everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong, and then people wanted to offer me help when that help was already too late to be offered. Like if you got diabetes and you need special shoes so you don't get your feet cut off in 2 weeks, and then people are like, "Oh, I will, I will, I will," and then 6 months after your feet are both cut off, they bring you the shoes, and then they're pissed off that you won't put on the shoes and walk around in them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I don't know if that makes any sense.
yeah, I think it does.
Sometimes people say that doesn't make any sense, or I don't know what shoes have to do with anything and stuff like that. And
No, I
it,
think
it
you're
makes
trying to
sense the
say
way
that
I'm explaining it.
you needed the help, and then when the help came, that wasn't what was needed anymore, and so um, yeah, I understand what you mean. I understand the analogy.
People
I
were
just
mad at me when they were too late with the help that I needed. They got mad at me. Miss
yeah,
Peaches, she said that the reason she wasn't writing it down is because it was way too much and she didn't even know where to get started, but that she was trying, but she just never got around to it. And most of that was because she was busy smoking pot and video games, but a lot of it is also because she's got her own family. She got 2 kids. She's got a boyfriend that lives with her, and she's got a job that she goes to, and she's really
yeah,
a good mom.
yeah.
She threw me away too. She has evidence I need in court, but she doesn't talk to me.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that. All I can really control is what I'm doing and what we're doing for autism and with your housing and your social security. So that's what I've got to keep my focus on that.
I'm sorry, I keep going off. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just wish that I had the skill sets that you needed. I just don't.
Same with
Unfortunately,
everyone
I
else.
can only do what I can do.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I am committed to seeing those two things through, and so we're gonna see those through.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have that guarantee that I'm gonna at least continue to follow up with housing, continue to follow up with Social Security until those situations, until they've answered us and we know what's going on. Those two things I can do, and so I will work on that.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll give you, if it helps, I can give you more often updates if I have them. Instead of just once a week, I can try to send you something a couple times a week as best I know. I don't know because the coronavirus, if how like the Social Security office is operating, I'm sure they're still there, but hopefully I'll get an answer one day.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
the last of the three county release things has come, so we've got all three of those. That took about a week, but at least we have those in hand now.
So those are just releases, so I would have to send those back to those counties and have them send them back to me?
No,
Or is it say when I was released and I take those to the Social Security office? Because I don't have an ID.
right. No, you have each of the three counties released the paperwork showing you were released and the dates you were released. And so that's what Social Security needs. So you don't have to do anything with those counties. We already have that paperwork from those counties. So those counties gave us that release so that we can, so that you can give it to Social Security to get your benefits started again.
Yes, ma'am. Hopefully I could get some. Is there any way you could make an extra. I don't know if you have access to a photocopier. I know I don't.
Yeah, I do.
Could you make an extra copy of those to send to me?
Yeah, how do we send them to you?
You should be able to send them to General Mail. I check the mail every weekday, just in
So
case something comes from Hilltop.
it comes to general mail? What is that?
Well, because in Chapel they don't have a mail delivery truck like they do in the cities. You have to go down to the post office, and everybody gets a post office box. And I don't have the money for a post office box. They told me that they can only do that for 10 days for me, but they've been doing it for about 3 months now, I think. So if you send it general mail, I go in and I check for it every day. So if they get something, they give it to me.
So what's that address? Do you know?
You just write uh, Sean Schwartz, general delivery, um, Chapel, Nebraska Post Office 69129, I think.
General delivery, Chapel. Okay, we'll send you a copy,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then actually I'll send you 2 copies so that you can give one to Social Security. But let me talk to them first and figure out how that works.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you have to have an appointment and how we're going to get you there and that kind of information. But yeah, we can send these to general delivery.
All right. And then,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome. Let's get those sent off and then we'll probably about Social Security.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I think I talked too much. So, the not being able to concentrate with two people talking at the same time, or somebody talking with the radio going, sometimes I'm able to kind of focus on part of that because I catch keywords, so I can sort of hold my own on a conversation if there's music and a person talking, but it's really a lot of work. But if it's a party or some positive interaction and there's two people that are talking, it's no big thing. I can usually make some jokes off of a couple of keywords, and if it's a positive thing and I'm not under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure because I have to get something done and I have to try to remember everything that's said, and I have to, if it's a positive environment and it's not essential to understand it all, I don't get overwhelmed by the sensory processing issues. But when it's a situation where I have to do something, I like for the last 3 years basically having to do something about the abuse so I can see my loved ones. That's something where it does overwhelm me and it crushes me, and My heart hurts. If I didn't have to get all of this court stuff done, then the playing of the video games here wouldn't hurt me, but it does physically hurt me, and I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to explain that to somebody who doesn't experience it, what it feels like. Like a chalkboard, I guess. You younger folks got lucky. You got classrooms with dry erase boards, but when I was growing up, it was, oh God, that still gives me the chills. It's like trying to work through someone scraping a chalkboard. That is literally what it's like. You can literally feel it. And it's not just a pain in your ears, it's a whole body thing. That's the best way to explain it, I guess. It's like trying to do your taxes with someone scratching a chalkboard. You just, or even two or three chalkboards at the same time sometimes. And then people think that drugs will fix it, and they don't. The only thing I've ever taken that can help to drown that out is marijuana. And that doesn't work in this situation. It only works in social anxiety situations, which means it helps if there's a crowd, or it helps if I got two or three people there and one of them's a fucking dickhead. It helps me to drown them out. Marijuana is literally the only thing that's ever helped with that. But in this situation where I have to sit down and work on it, marijuana will only make it worse. And that's the thing about understanding your body and understanding medications and what works and what doesn't. And that's why it's important for doctors to listen to you. But doctors, just like most of the general public, have their own opinions that they make decisions on instead of facts. Their own interpretations of what they read instead of their own understanding from personal experience. If you've never heard a person scrape a chalkboard, you're going to be clueless as to that whole analogy. I hope I get the help I need. I also hurt a lot. And then when people don't understand, that hurts me too. As soon as I understand or realize that they're not understanding, I start hurting immediately. And when they throw me away, that hurts even more because I do need them. Especially the people I love, I do need them. I need them for their words. I need them for the experiences that we've had together. And I need them to feel loved. I don't feel loved. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys are gonna call me a snowflake. I've heard that a lot. Calling me a snowflake isn't gonna change that fact.